All right, thank you for doing this. Seriously, it's been a long time. Well, I mean, I feel like that's a cliche statement at this point, where it's just like, I haven't seen you in a while. I haven't seen anyone in a while. None of us have. That's the point of this whole thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Stop saying that every single time. But no, like for real, I feel like I haven't seen some of y'all since like what, Midwest Music Fest, Big Turn? When was the last
Something like
time?
that.
Yeah.
It was a really long time.
I was gonna say I think it's been about as long as since we've seen Wheelin'. So
Very true.
Well, there we go. Well, thank you for coming on. Okay, yeah, you're gonna have to excuse my brain for a second here, just because I played a show at the White Squirrel last night, and I played last, and my brain is not quite there. Is Grave Danger already out, or is it coming out?
The single, the title track, Grave Danger, came out on June 4th, and then the album comes out on Friday.
Okay. Yeah, for some reason I was just like, wait, I thought it was coming out June 30th, or did we just agree to do this show on June 30th? Like that's where my brain is at. Perfect. Okay. Well, that is good. Also, after the next two tunes, we're gonna be on like the radio. So like we're live now, but like it's just kind of like a different audience. So no swearing, and I think I'm really just reminding myself that.
Yeah, David, no swearing.
There was a really, really funny Maudlin interview where we were on with multiple bands, and someone said the S word, and then they said, "Oh, F word." I said the S word, and then
it wasn't us.
It wasn't us, and then the entire everything was over. It was just, it's done. This was a long time ago.
It's so funny how it's just like that like just. It was like an EMP. It tripped the whole thing and shut it down. It's like I get that though, because when I first started interviewing people,
Terminator.
when I first started doing this show, like whenever I would have a song that's like not the radio edit version, like even though like it'll be like that's the only time they say a swear word, I'm still like, oh no, and then like I pull the song, like it's just like what's done is done, really, you know, like I think it only matters is if like enough people complain, and I typically our audience is cool enough that if they hear something like that, the worst reaction we get is they swore.
Right.
Like they're not gonna like complain to the FCC, so they start monitoring us. That being said, let's try to play it by the books.
Yeah.
Yeah, David.
If you have the window open, so like a drone could like come and look at us.
Oh, they're already doing that. Not
From the
all the
FCC drones could be outside.
That's all the birds out there. Didn't you know that?
Yeah. Real.
Bird. Also,
Birds aren't real. They're drones.
Birds are real. Also, they swear.
Real.
So
that is Birds Aren't Real might be my favorite piece of art to come out of like whatever we call modern society, just because like it's gotten big enough to the point where like it's developed a new audience of like people who think it's serious, like the flat earth movement, which is exactly what they were trying to do. And now like, and it's like gaining more fans because people are like, oh yeah, that's ridiculous. I want a Birds Aren't Real t-shirt. Like I want a Birds Aren't Real sticker. But now like it's like the more it gets like pushed online, there's like this like little contingent of people where like these people are crazy. With like this is it's like there's like these it's like this is why we need an authoritarian government, because people don't realize birds are real. And it's just like, okay.
No, there's like a huge group of like
we're so screwed, aren't we?
Oh, we're totally screwed. Yeah.
There's a huge
we are screwed.
Bird watch.
We're also totally screwed if birds aren't real and the Earth is flat. So, I mean, we're either way, we're out of luck.
That I guess I never thought about that before because like I'm too busy. Like the flat Earth one, I get how like conspiracies start. Like some of them are almost like folklore that people pass, and like they're really fun to watch. But like the flat Earth one, I don't get like why they want to square that circle because like every other conspiracy theory on Earth like kind of solves a problem, if that makes sense.
Right.
Where it's just like when indescribable events happen, like people come up with these dots to connect to kind of be like, oh no, like random and chaotic things don't just happen. Like there had to be a plan. This one I don't get because the more you dig into the plan, the more it's just like, well, that's why they don't want us to know the Earth is flat. But why? Well, think about it. Think what would happen. Think about what happened if everyone knew the Earth was flat. What? You know. No, I don't know. Why are you guys like so on this all the time? Like I don't understand what the motivation is to
Zach, open a giant like you shouldn't have had us on today and brought this up. Like this
no, I should have. No, let's you want to talk some jive? I'll talk jive like you've never seen. Come on.
Did you know that
David is so pumped right now.
Like decades like as amateur conspiracy theorist researchers?
Did you know that before everyone went nuts?
Like we know everything about this stuff. Like this is
like
a
we don't believe it.
This is a hole that we took a sack lunch when we went down into this hole. We were there for so long to see what was going on. So
okay. All right, enlighten me because this is the one because
just as like a little thing when we moved, I had to like be like, okay, so how many occult encyclopedias should I keep? Like 4 or like 1 or just, and we were like, throw them all.
No, all of them. Okay, so you know the inside scoop then.
No, like we used to know this guy who worked at a publishing company.
He just passed away.
Yeah,
actually,
poor man just passed away.
He just passed away.
Rest his soul. Anyways, he would bring us like all these books of like all this like stuff, and I mean this is like weird stuff. Like one of them was like how to cook erotic dishes with like herbs that you grew in your garden during a certain moon phase to like convince your neighborhood to like want to have sex with you. And so it was like really cool.
I don't remember that.
Wait. The whole neighborhood? Like not just one person. Like this brings
really
all the boys to the yard?
Yeah, it's like really even the birds, real or not. There's like it depends on like the amount of bay leaves you put in really kind of like
they're not even anyways. No, but I mean like we just had like these like random things and we just thought it was so cool and we just like dope. And then all of a sudden things we realized that like people who thought this stuff was like real were nuts and crazy. So then we were just like, No,
well, yeah. I mean, but there's like, there's variant degrees.
Yeah.
There's like your has nothing to do with like super weird stuff, conspiracies that sure, man, that's possible. And then there's there's like, oh, this is pretty like if this were true, I mean, I guess it's possible, but if it were true, whoa.
Simulations.
And then there's like, huh? Like, and we know about it all.
I'm so glad you came on the show because like this is basically like a hobby of mine as well because I love talking about this stuff, but you're absolutely right. There's always a moment where you're like either on tour and you mention something, like you kind of like reference something as a joke, and then like someone across the room is just like, and then like at first you think like you're becoming friends, and then like after a while there's like this weird moment that like it gradually like this happened to me at the Caboose once where like I thought she was joking, but like the more she talked, it was like, Oh, you believe every word of this. Okay.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you live in a Faraday cage. Okay.
Like, and it's the caboose, so you can't like pretend like, oh, I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette because everyone's smoking in the green room. So you're like, I'm gonna do something else. All right, we're gonna go back on the air here. Hold on.
Okay.
Why wasn't it on the air?
Okay, we are on the air. So that was okay. I like doing this with playlists. So we had Blink 182. Yes. Someone is GSC commented. Oh no, it's a Tom takeover. Because I had Angels and Airwaves and Blink 182 in that set. Carry the Zero started things off. Okay, hold on. There we go. I'm on camera again. We are on Desert Islands, and I am joined by Maudlin, and the off-mic conversation is going to go down rabbit holes, so join us for that. But please, if you're one of the listeners that likes to play along at home, don't do both while you're driving. The video gets archived. You can watch it whenever you want. Yeah, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for doing this. This is you have a new album coming out in 2 days.
On my birthday.
Really? The second to your birthday? Well, happy birthday. Well, happy pre. Normally, I'm the person that does the belated, like, oh, I didn't know. Happy birthday. That was 2 days ago. But I'm ahead of the game. So
65.
I'm not going to touch that one. Okay, so this is coming out, and I kind of wanted to talk to you about this just because you have had experience, a unique experience with the music industry, and since things are coming back, music is coming back, post-pandemic coming back, all that fun stuff. You've been on a lot of different hats of like how to release music, how to perform music, and I am wondering, what is the function of a record label anymore in music? I feel like they can help, or they can also really, really hurt. And I'm always excited to talk with people who kind of know what both things are like, being an independent artist and someone who has been signed, because it is not that different, but it's also like worlds of difference. And now with Patreon, with the never-ending fractalization of like, you can support here, you can support here, you can support here, you can support here, find me on Venmo. Where do you think, like, do you think young bands should even aspire to be on a label anymore? Or do you think people should just try to do it themselves?
I think it depends on the label.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think at this point, most of the time, if you're aspiring to get on a label, it's because they've got like really good sync deals, and they've got the ability to get you some licensing, and maybe they've got like a few extra $1,000 laying around to get you some good music videos right away. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like at this point, you can do distribution yourself. That's pretty good. You know, you can tour. Nobody really needs the kind of tour support that they did in the past. I mean, it's like the difference between independent music and like In the Clouds doesn't even exist as normal humans music, like crazy beyond like even normal existence is like, I mean, it's not the same. It's not the same at all. I mean, no. And so it's like, honestly, at this point, just treat your music like a regular job, and, you know, put your time into it and develop relationships. And yeah, honestly, I think the only reason to aspire to a label is if they have connections you don't have.
Right. There was this one time I was at South by Southwest, and it was one of those times where IPR sent me down, so they paid for me to get a badge. Which I never got the badges because those are like $700-800, and I'm like, that's stupid. But I happened to be in on this panel where it was how did indie labels get big in the aughts, and it was really interesting. It was all these at the time, and this was, I don't know, this is like maybe 6-7 years ago. All these really big independent labels talking about how as the major labels were declining, they got really hard into sync, because there would be movies offering like $50,000 for a song for
one
artists.
song.
Yeah, and major labels would be like, nah, we need 250,000 for this to be the main song in your movie. And all these indie labels just came along and they're like, nah, we got this. And that's how they got big. And they were doing like more than half their revenue was just sync. And yeah, and I wish I remembered any of the names of any of the labels, but they're names that like if you knew label names, you'd probably recognize them. And I was like, and so there are a lot of labels that solely exist just to do sync. They're almost just publishing houses at this point.
Yep.
I feel like that is almost kind of how it goes now. Because like that, like I remember getting courted by a label and like looking at the contract, and it was just like, so you provide no support for videos, and you're just pressing this on vinyl. What's the point?
Yeah.
Like, what is actually the like? Is it? Am I signing this contract to say I'm on a label on Twitter? Like, is that the purpose of this? And hashtag not all labels. I'm not like trying to, like I'm not trying to like eat someone's lunch here and try to like denigrate someone's position, because there's a lot of hardworking people who actually like do that work and do A&R. Remember A&R? Wow, imagine that.
I do.
but it's not, it's a rare thing these days. I feel like the function of a label is just like, you're right, like, can they get you synced? Otherwise, well, what are we doing here? I feel like I'm asking you as much as like just the ether at this point of just like, wait, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
So some of the smaller labels I know of too, they're also kind of like a collective or like a family, and so I think that they do offer that connective support.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Smaller ones.
Yeah. Really small ones.
Talking small things, not big.
Well, speaking of all the small things, no, I'm not going to play that song. I'm not going to play that song.
Okay.
We're going to be listening to a cut of your new record, some new local music coming out, but we are also going to be talking about a bunch of crazy stuff on the off-mic conversation. But let's cool things off with the Cardigans here on KFAI. Stick around. The Cardigans, this track starts so soft. I forgot about it. I was just like, oh no, I broke it. It's not working.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so like I don't know. I was torn on whether or not we should continue the the conspiracy rhetoric on the air, but I don't get in trouble for that. I know it would become all we talk about, and it's just like the whole point of having this platform is to be like, hey, you have new music coming out. People should listen to that. People should go find that.
One of the funny things though is that like because we've been so steeped in that world for so long as like hobbyists, because we were so interested in it. I had this like epiphany the other day that like all of our music, a lot of our music, I should say, is written about like monsters and UFOs, but it's not like actually writing about those things. A lot of it, I think, is us trying to explain like real life experiences, and we're like, it's too much. We can't explain it unless we talk about monsters. Then it's like, you know what I mean?
But I love the conspiracy, because like I started, like my first band was like a bluegrass band. I started in folk. I love folklore, and I think a lot of time these stories kind of come into existence as a way of people either trying to talk about something they couldn't explain or process something too big that is just like, there has to be some sort of other supernatural force that caused this thing to happen to our people. It was, and it's fun how like these things morph into different things. Like it's like, I don't know if you watched that documentary about like the Bigfoot murders.
Yeah.
Like Mendo. Oh, it's so good. But I love, like, they were talking to that guy. They were like, oh yeah, like there's a dealer named Bigfoot, and whenever someone would get whacked, like it would just be an unspoken thing. You're like, oh yeah, Bigfoot did it. And I was like, oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
But like I think there's an element of that too, where it's just like people are kind of like
drug dealers.
Yeah, well, like it's like they're peddling those stories like drugs. Like, what's the analogy I'm looking for? Like the CIA. They're like the CIA.
Or like we're just watching the show Katla, and it's like about Icelandic changelings, and so yeah. So anyway,
changelings is another thing.
People like
changelings is the whole thing.
Changelings, the whole thing's with changelings, and then and funny enough, David even freaking wrote a song about changelings. We never recorded it, but oh my gosh, it was such a good song. Anyways,
it was okay.
No, I loved it.
I wish I had more to contribute to this.
I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, Whelan, what's your favorite conspiracy, Whelan? You have to have one.
Whelan.
I don't know. I wish I had one. But speaking of Tom, I know Tom's all into aliens. I wish I knew more about aliens. He could talk about that. He's the one bringing aliens to the forefront pretty much now all of a sudden.
And so why don't you know?
Because I don't read about it. I read the headlines. I read the headlines like everyone else on Twitter, and I go, all right, next subject.
Well, like, I think it's hilarious that this subject has been like mired in muck for so many years, and like they're like, if you actually talk about UFOs, you're considered nuts. Like you like almost have to like pick and choose your company. But now, like, the world is so insane. The government straight up just went, oh yeah, they're real. We have no idea what they are. And the majority of America just went, yeah, whatever, man. I got a lot going on.
Me listening to Blink in middle school. Oh, sorry. I was just listening to Blink in middle school, and I'm like, oh, this Tom DeLonge's into aliens. Like, that's cute, I guess, whatever. And now, 20 years later, you're like, oh, he's got something.
Yeah.
Well, that's the craziest thing about it. Like, at first.
The guy now, like
he's the guy.
He's like if there was a PhD in aliens, he's like the guy who has that.
It just goes to show that you can be anything you want to be.
That's true.
Thanks, Mom.
Unless you want to be a real bird.
No.
They're not real.
I think we're working on that. I think we're trying. We're like trying really hard to make.
And then the mini dragonflies are the mini drones. They're not real either.
I've always hated it.
Yeah. And that's how this spirals, because someone's like, hey, dragonflies aren't real, and someone else is like, I hate dragonflies. Now I know that's why I probably hated them, because they're drones.
I've had this irrational thing. It speaks to me. Finally someone understands, and then it becomes a movement. And what's weird about the Tom DeLonge thing is, if you go deep enough into like the UFO conspiracy realm, it was like this weird character arc where, like, a few years ago, people were like, you guys need to stop making fun of Tom DeLonge, man. Tom DeLonge's an American hero. He's like blowing the lid off the whole thing. And now if you read it, like, people are just like, man, Tom DeLonge's a CIA plant. You can't listen to anything he says. Like, he's been corrupted by this. Like, how did we get here? Like, there's like a whole community of people like who not just agree with Tom DeLonge. They're like, no, Tom DeLonge's right. But now that community is split into we should listen to him and we should not listen to him. Like, he's totally telling the truth. But he's working with the CIA.
I'm going to say a dirty word here. Are you ready?
Sure. He's an alien.
Alex Jones.
I was just going to say that.
We just got pulled off of YouTube.
So Alex Jones, like most people, like, oh, this is this crazy mega guy, and he is, but that's not how it started. This all started, like, if you know his rise to bat.
I think Doc knows.
I'm sure he does, but it started as this like undercover deep dive into this occult thing.
Yes.
And he was like just like this nobody.
Yes.
And then pretty soon it got into protein shakes and like millions of dollars in like protein shakes, and that's how he makes a living. And then him having to justify in a divorce hearing like that nothing he does is real. It's all an act. He's not actually crazy.
He also was called the CIA plan for a long time too. Anyways,
so it goes full circle from he's a hero to
CIA plan.
And then to just he's just this guy making a whole bunch of money from MAGA people.
Well, that is something that I think everyone needs to kind of like have a look in the mirror when you're like deep dive into conspiracies, because like I don't know if you remember my old band Jill. John and I were into this stuff.
Met.
Yeah. Like it's just like so we were into this stuff, but like he would explain it. He's just like, yeah, you need to understand, these are my sitcoms. Like this is this is like what entertains me. And like so he actually was like, hey man, I should just get like, because he does a lot of audio engineering and briefly worked for like radio stations, NPR, and he was like, he almost got a job at one of the broadcasting companies that like does all that stuff. Alex Jones, like Coast to Coast, like all these guys.
Really?
Yeah, and it was so funny because like he did the interview and then he's just like, something just rubbed me the wrong way about like this whole thing, and like all those personalities for a stretch were just like, buy gold, buy this, da 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 da. And then it was just like, yeah, why do they always do that? He found out that apparently the parent company that owns the radio station that redistributes that is deep into gold. Like they are gold merchants first. And I like, that made me laugh so hard because I was just like, oh, it was like the comical version of The Usual Suspects, where it's just like, it's all a bit. It's all a bit. Yeah. Like that's okay. That's kind of funny, actually.
That's funny. So he was almost a them. Like he almost got that.
He basically like moving the carts and running the board, because like in his mind he's like, well, this is an easy gig. They're gonna pay me for what I'm gonna do anyway. It would be kind of funny to like listen to the new material, and then it's just like he got too close to it, and it was just like, oh wait, it's all a scam. That's kind of hilarious. Like, it's all a gigantic scam. Okay, after this song, we're gonna go back on the air, so stay tuned. How am I gonna read this calendar and stay on camera?
That's so meta though that.
Oh, here we go. Hold on. Okay, so we are back. And I'm with Maudlin. We're going to hear some new Maudlin coming up. But let's talk about that. There we go. The actual mic. Okay. All right. So that was the ultrasounds. We also heard Wheel of Fortune in that set. Some Winona bands. Let's talk about what is going on this week and beyond. The stuff you can stream and stuff you can attend in person. Sprig of That and Anthony Ehrig at Ice House. That is tonight. You can check that out in person on the patio, live on the patio. Thursday, Dakota Dave Hole is coming back doing his live stream concert, 3 songs at 10 a.m., Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Also tomorrow, the OK Factor at the Bakken Museum. It's a cello duo going to play at a really, really cool location to see live music. Also, Ian Valor, They Self, that is me, and Elor are going to be. That is my next show at the 331. I don't have many local shows, so if you're interested in what I do, that's where you can see it next. Let's see. I'm also doing a show at Cadence, an unplugged show on the patio, Cadence Records and Coffee, and that's about it. So let's get back to other people's stuff, and I'll stop shilling my own. Pop at France featuring Chris Koza. This is a series curated by Katie Vernon every Friday at 50th in France at the Plaza there. Chris Kozo is going to be the guest this Friday. Chuck Norad, Prize Fighters and Better Mistakes at Palmer's. That is also this Friday. Space Monkey Mafia at Keg and Case Market in St. Paul. Jamie Branch at the Walker Lawn. This is the Hillside Jazz Series. This is an artist off of the jazz label in Chicago, International Anthem. It's some really, really cool stuff. Luke from Temposphere turned me on to this event, and it's going to be pretty cool, and it's this Friday, and it's free. Let's see. If you want an indoor show, the Suburbs are playing the 7th Street Entry with the Black Velvet Punks. Yes, indoor shows are coming back at First Avenue and a bunch of venues in town, and that is the first one. If you're not ready for that, though, there is a patio party at Palmer's. It's going to open with the Outstanding Achievements in the Field of Excellence. Gotta love Brian Erb. Great guy, and great player, too. Doesn't play often, so you should check that out. And then after that, the Black Widows are going to have a summer party on the patio at Palmer's. Also, 4th of July on Palmer's, Michael Gay's Old Country Buffet. What better way to ring in 4th of July than the, Western Americana music catalog outdoors. So Michael Gay's Old Country Buffet at Palmer's. Looking ahead, only every Monday. That is every week on the Caboose patio. And Javier Trejo is going to do Terminal Tuesdays live on, the internet, but you can actually go to the Terminal Bar and watch him live stream. Think I missed something, or you just want to hear me mispronounce your band name on the air? Email it to desertislandskfai@gmail.com. That is desertislandskfai@gmail.com. Follow me on Twitter. I will find stuff there if you at me. And of course, invite me to things on Facebook. But if you really want me to see it, desertislandskfai@gmail.com. I curate that whole segment from stuff you send me. So if you think I don't know about something, or you think I really should be talking about something, talk to me. Okay, speaking of talking, it is the top of the hour, and I am making a mixtape for Maudlin here on Desert Islands, the show where I make the playlist out of the 10 records my guests would bring to a desert island. But right now, we heard some Minnesota music. I figured we can get to a single off of your next record. Let's talk about this record, though. Were you making this in the pandemic, or did you have this already made and were like, hey, we're going to release a record next year? How did this process go down?
Real quick first, can I shill our next date?
Yes, you can. Yes, and you should.
we was like, no. July 22nd, we're doing a set in Mears Park with Annie Mac.
Oh, nice. That's a great bill.
Yeah, that'll be a cool combination. So we'll be there. If you come up to us and start talking about conspiracy theories, we will nod our head politely for, I don't know, at least 10 or 12 seconds.
Right. So back to the album. A lot of these songs we'd had for a really long time. We'd been recording them for a while, but we kind of finished piecing it together and did all the finishing touches.
Yeah. And
then all of that during the pandemic. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. I don't know.
I think you did.
How did you get were you just sending? How did you record the drums? Was that an after thing and you had the track? How was everything recorded? Because I know you live in the same place, so you can track together. But how do you get the rest of the whole thing in there?
I mean, we did the drums years ago, almost now.
Yeah,
that's what it feels like.
Yeah. So we recorded these songs and all of our old songs that we'd ever recorded. We recorded literally everything we had. We spent years in the recording studio, and then the pandemic hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
right.
We were doing it at in Master Mix at IPR.
Okay.
With the illustrious Kevin Bowe.
And then we did the finishing touches with him and everything like that at his home.
So it all actually
he's got a great studio out there. He's done a lot of great records from there.
Yeah, the Kill Room is his personal studio.
He calls it the Kill Room?
Don't go there alone. Yeah, so it actually started with drums and the rhythm, the main guitar and bass and drums we recorded live for all the tracks. So Whelan's our metronome. There's no click or anything. That's all Whelan.
Nice. Well, let's actually just listen to the title track here. If you like what you hear, where can folks hear it again? Is it going to be on all streaming services? Can they purchase it on?
You can buy it on Bandcamp. You can stream it on Spotify as of Friday. You can.
Oh, the single's out now.
The single's out now, but on Bandcamp you can actually listen to 3 singles. So perfect. Right now, yeah.
Well, if you like what you hear, this one's on Spotify. I encourage you to keep digging and get the rest of the singles, and the rest of it is going to be out on Friday. Here is Grave Danger by Maudlin here on KFAI. Got to make sure I mute my mic.
Very important.
You just talk over it and it'd be funny.
Well, sometimes like there's because of like the weekly calendar, there's like this weird feeling when like I have to type in like all the metadata for things, and I feel like Kramer from that episode of Seinfeld where he gets the Tonight Show set, and like in between commercials he just doesn't talk to anybody. Like there's just like that moment of silence where it's just like, okay, thanks for coming on the show. It's like right at the moment. It's like right at the moment when your song is playing, and like that's such a weird feeling, because like when you're working on a record and you're like mixing it and you're just like, oh, I've heard this so many times, and then you're just like listening to it, just like,
yeah.
Like, and it's just like, but it's really just me because I forgot to type a backlog of stuff that I'm supposed to be typing. But hey, it's live radio. Who needs professionalism when you have mishaps?
Cheers.
But, yeah, I don't even know. I barely know what's going on. Hold on. Whoa.
I was going to say back to like what we were talking about before, like how like how meta that is. That like there's a conspiracy built on fleecing people who are into conspiracies, and it's actually really big, and a lot of people know about it, and they keep it hush hush so that they can up the price of gold. That's so close to so many actual conspiracies.
Oh, like
it is its own actual conspiracy.
It's funny because like that actually I feel like is a real conspiracy. Like there are real conspiracies, but like I'm not sure if it's as much a conspiracy as like just a people who own a product going, well, these people will believe anything, so let's sell them supplements and gold and silver. And you also you fellas seem pretty paranoid, so you better buy guns too. The price of ammo is going up. So like, and it's like, is that a conspiracy, or is that just like capitalism?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, maybe there's a conspiracy to like. What, did you ever see that flick Mirage Man? Where they had like a. It's like that the CIA agent Richard Doty talking about like how there's like active misinformation campaigns to just kind of conceal the root of everything and just like kind of send people down directions to just kind of like obscure the real truth of what's going on, and you never really know like what anything is. But like he talked about like going to like all these conventions to kind of see like to check in on the misinformation campaigns, to just be like, oh, like what are people talking about? Like, did anyone talk about that one? Like, did this one take root? And like, but because like he openly admits that like he was part of a misinformation campaign. Is he lying about that too? To just, you know, say like, oh yeah, and then none of that's real. And then all of it's real. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows?
Meta. But it is a fun pastime.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's like my favorite pastime because it literally like nothing passes the time quicker than like this.
Yeah, the first time I met David was when we were playing in an old band and we were driving. I don't even know where we were driving home, and someone, you know, randomly brought up it was either aliens or monsters or whatever, and David went off, and I was like, "Oh, this guy knows something. Oh, he knows a lot. Oh, wow, it's been 3 hours. We're still talking about this."
Right.
Good times. Good times.
Oh, the best times.
But
hold on, I'm getting. Whoa! Sorry. I get distracted by the sheer amount of notifications in here. So okay. So for the people in the chat, you'll have to forgive me. I forget we have a chat. And there's like comments that happen, and I don't know when. Oh, okay. Okay. So apparently I missed an event. Japan Van Dam Club Underground Friday, July 2nd. Thank you for sending me that. I'm sorry about that. We also username blah blah blah. Can we hear El Sapo? I don't. What is that? Is that something y'all know about or hip to? I'm not sure.
Yeah. David and I have been playing together since we were 15 and 17.
Yeah. Oh no way. Okay. All right. Yeah. Thank you for tuning in. I don't have time to like actively respond to everything, so I'm gonna try to like respond like actually talking about it. Because like I don't know, I can't like turn the webcam around, but I have 4 screens in front of me, and I definitely end up ignoring one of them because there's people on this one. And then my ADD brain kind of kicks in and be like, oh right, we're on the radio. I gotta change the song. What were we talking about? And so I am not ignoring you. Thank you for commenting. Yes, I am in the studio. I just can't. If I start typing, I will get down to that area, and then I'm gonna miss a transition. But yeah, so okay, so El Sapo.
You're doing great.
What? So what is El Sapo? Am I
remember when you just played the ultrasounds?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Todd from the ultrasounds. He was my very first boyfriend and one of David's best friends growing up. And we called him Todd or Toad, and then El Sapo. Doesn't that mean toad or something?
El Sapo means toad.
Yeah.
In
so
Spanish.
there was this really bad song that we wrote about him in high school, and my backing vocals were just El Sapo, and it was like real bad.
Why aren't we playing it?
We're really amazing.
We don't know.
Okay, so my favorite memory involving us and Todd, and I had no idea. I had no idea this was a thing. One of the first times I played Ratter Days.
Oh yeah.
Like Todd, and once Todd kind of gets going in those things, like it's just like there is like Toddland where it's just like, you know, it's like, all right, yeah, like whatever happened, you know, like so I finished the set. Last time I played Ed's, I was like last. This time I was like in the middle, and Megan was like, "Hey, do you want to come back to our house?" Like just like it's like because it's one of those things where like usually when I'm in Winona, I'm either playing lacrosse or somewhere else. It's like, yeah. It's like, so like I've crashed with Todd and Megan quite a bit. We went down there, and on the way back, there is a sign like at a like it's some like random sign that like it was just like I don't even know if it's still there anymore because last time I went to Winona, there was like a used car lot with like a sign.
Oh, yeah,
that they,
prison credit. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and So Megan was just like, oh, let's vandalize the sign. And me being the goody two shoes, I'm just like, I don't live here. I don't want to do that. I'm really like, oh no, like this was something that we just do.
We
just do all the time. I was like, all right, so we did it, and it was like we just like took away a letter, so like it spelled something naughty, and we're like, hee hee, we're geniuses. And then like we like so like we didn't like go back there, and then like I think. I don't know. I can't remember if it was you or Todd, but like one of you was like almost kind of like indignant where it's just like, yo, someone stole our bit. Like we were going to vandalize that sign and someone vandalized it before us. So like you just doubled down so hard. Like every word was just like, all right, we're just going to take every letter off the sign and like every single word on there is going to be like some vulgarity. I forget what it says. Like, it's like there's like I remember like one thing was like it was a block party and it was like, hey, come party. So we changed it to like not like come over, like we changed it to CUM. And it was like, all right, mischief managed, things are done. But like we walked past the sign, like I think Todd showed me a picture and he's like, this is it. And I was just like, holy shit. Like every word, it was just like, come party, wine 'em, dine 'em, 69 'em. Like it was just like,
I literally remember this.
Yeah.
It's like it went so far that like when I walked to my car the next morning, they didn't take the sign down. They just pulled the sign indoors. Like they were just like, oh no. like it's like they didn't take the letters. It was just gone. And like ever since then, every time I go back to Winona, I don't see that sign anymore. I don't know if that was
Oh no.
Okay, so Ladybird's niece actually took their sign and like just painted it on the wall because we changed it so much in high school.
Yeah, but okay, so this is where I have to like come in and like just trump my own horn and take credit. Todd and I have been doing this for a long time, but I got him into it. I started it because there was a sign by my place, and I started changing when I was 10.
Yeah.
And it was this place called the Big Cheese, and it had this giant picture of like a mouse like throwing a piece of cheese into its mouth, and it all started there. The sign, and it said like buy 2 pizza burgers, get 1 free, and I changed it to buy 2 pizza boogers, get a free rat, and that like Genius. And then I was hooked. I was like, this is it for me. This is like the thing. And
I found my calling.
Yeah, and then Todd and I have been doing it ever since, and Priscilla too. We've roped in all sorts of poor people.
I haven't done this yet.
We haven't lived in Winona for a very long time. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Whelan. Do you want to?
Yes. Anyways, the only times I've personally run from the cops have been when changing signs. And one time I had a full leg cast on, and I just remember like everybody else ran away and the car was driving and I was running with a full leg cast, and they're just yelling, "Get in!" And I just in the back seat, the doors open, I just dove in flat, and then it was just like,
yeah,
I better not tell mom and dad, you know.
So the best one though. Do we have time for the best one?
We better.
This is
we have like 25 seconds and then we're gonna be on the air. But we should hold this thought. We should hold this thought when we're not on the radio.
No, let's not. Let's begin.
We should actually promote the music, but hold this thought because I do want to hear this. Because like,
okay.
I did have one of those memories where I'm just like, oh, we're doing something. Like it was like one of the fun. Okay, so that was New Jeweler. There we go. I'm on camera. New Jeweler. We also heard Dead History, which is a really that's a really cool hardcore band of local cats that have been in a lot of bands for a long time. Super happy that this is getting recognized. Same with this Jeweler record and New Maudlin. Local music. So if you like what you hear, you can hear it again this Friday. Yeah. So are you going to have physical merch for this as well? Are you doing CDs? Are you doing vinyl?
We didn't do anything.
I mean, we will.
We will.
We're not. Yeah.
We will, but we haven't yet. We will. Promise.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Yeah. Okay, so this record comes out in 2 days. Your next show is going to be July 22nd in Mears Park. What is next for, because like we were in this whole pandemic situation where it's just like you plan a record. It's like, all right, we do this when records come out, but that kind of changed a little bit. And then to the point where like I have been talking with artists about how they've been releasing music, and a lot of them are changing the plans of like, you know what? I don't think we're going to do it that way. I think we're going to do it in a much more sustainable way. I don't know if I want to tour the same way I usually tour. I don't know if I want to do music videos the way I used to do. How do you, like, what is your plan post-release? Are you going to try to gig as much as possible? Or is that just like, you know what, we don't actually need to gig as much as possible in this post-COVID world where, you know, we can wait and find out. But past July 22nd, do you have any appearances on the books, or am I just giving away trade secrets at this point that we don't want to?
No. We're definitely going to be playing live. And we definitely want to get some videos done. What, honestly, my goal personally was just sync. So, so we've hired a PR team to do some sync work for us and just try and get stuff placed. Like that's my goal, is to just get some placement, you know.
I'm the shows guy.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like that's where the name of the game these days is, like, placement.
Yeah, it's like you can play shows. That's awesome.
Shows are awesome.
Shows are awesome.
Shows are awesome.
I'm glad they're back.
I love playing live. It's like my favorite thing. But at the same time, it's like I want people to hear the music, and how's that going to happen? Placement.
Yeah, placement. It's absolutely true.
But we are lining up shows.
Yes, we are lining up shows.
We do have other appearances coming up. In town on September 24th, there's outdoor brewery festival thing.
Oh, there you go.
Doing, for Luce Line Brewery.
Oh yeah, they've been doing more music. I just noticed.
Yeah, they have.
They had Mary Bew not too long ago.
Yeah, that I did that.
Right on.
But and those guys seem really nice. So we're gonna be on for that. We're with Badman that day, and
they're great.
Just the Tiger and
also great. Yeah,
a bunch of other folks. But yeah, I think we all really do like playing shows. We aren't into playing shows that we don't enjoy playing or think we're going to enjoy playing.
Yeah,
kind of past that point where we're just gonna just play just for the sake of playing, to the point of like being a little bit more selective. Let's play things where it seems like this is going to be not, you know, a hellscape for us and completely miserable and then a 12-hour drive.
Well, and we just had twins.
Oh yeah. So
we have to be like more selective with all that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah. It's a new world. It's a new world. Okay, so July 22nd, September 24th. And then the new record is going to be coming out this Friday. If you're just tuning in, this is Desert Islands, the show where I make mixtapes for my guests based on the 10 records they would bring to a desert island. This week, I am talking with Maudlin, and Grave Danger is going to come out July 2nd, so keep your ears tuned in for that. But speaking of the playlist, let's keep going. Here is some television here on KFAI. Okay, good. This is a long song.
Great song.
I want to hear about.
I love this song. Oh, this is such a good song.
I want to hear about The Sign, because I'm not gonna lie. When we did that, it was like. And like so I grew up extremely Catholic, so that little bit of mischief, like I felt like it felt like it's like, oh yeah, we're doing it, Like, we're on the road, man. We're causing havoc. We're doing stuff. It's like, and nobody got hurt.
You're like, I'm a bank robber now.
Yeah. Like, I'm a rebel, Dottie. So like, I thought it was funny, like, because like Megan and I were definitely in the like, Megan was like, it's a rite of passage. You should just do it. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I had no idea that was like your thing, and
so many people do it,
and our turf too.
Yeah. I'm so glad that's a thing, because like that was like one of my favorite corners of, because you're right, so many people do it. Like, I would tell that story, and like I would get like a random band be like, you vandalized that sign too? Like, yeah, God brought us down and we vandalized the sign. We ended up in the hot tub and it was great. You know, like we got like, it's like a ritual. So like, how did that? So did you all grow up in Winona, or is that just a thing?
Whelan grew up in Savage.
Because
he's a savage.
That's not too far from here. That's not too far. From here.
And apparently, and we're just realizing this now as Whelan's being sad that he hasn't done this with us.
I know, I feel so
and
bad.
I can't believe that hasn't happened, that you've never done a sign change with us.
That's kind of crazy.
And my wife went there for school. We still have friends there, and no one's ever like, hey, want to go switch a sign up?
I think it's primarily because it was just kind of like our friend group growing up, you know, and I think that like,
I know your friends.
No, I know, but you're not.
I know Todd.
You're not one of them.
Oh,
just kidding. Oh my god. No, I mean like you know how like you know how Whelan, you know how they were like kind of like lame, you know, it's like go to bed early, you know what I mean, or like you like don't like fun, you know, or like you're kind of like into things that suck, you know, like that.
I know.
Bit. So like maybe that's why.
I'd want to do my best, like Alexis, just like.
That's what I was trying to do. Did I do okay? Okay.
Yeah. See, I picked up what you were doing.
Okay. No, I was.
Still, David.
A lot of times it happens probably after you've taken off, with like Winnie and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Or like with.
That's probably gonna be it. I feel like anytime I was involved in that stuff, it was like either it's fixing to be last call or it's like after payout. And
it's like 3 a.m. and you're like, why am I awake? Why am I alive? And then hey, here's a sign.
Yeah, not some drunk guy walking.
It's a surprisingly well lit sign too. So it's just like you're kind of called to. It's like why? Yeah, you're like, why am I alive? Pick this sign. That's why.
I definitely think that next time we play Ed's Whelan, we're gonna have to make sure we take care of this.
We should switch Ed's sign.
I gotta be honest, I didn't even see it down there. So like I don't know if it's like
there's plenty of other signs.
Yeah, there's plenty of other signs, but it's like I don't know if like they just got wise to crap, it's Ratter Days again. All right, just put it in the garage. Yeah. Just put it in the garage. or they just don't have that sign there anymore. Because I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it when I was down there.
I mean, but we've been changing that sign for 20 years. So, I mean, they have quite a bit of, I guess, to put up with.
I mean, literally, there are photos of us when we're 15 hanging on the top of the sign. I mean,
it's a landmark.
Yeah.
But so my favorite one was not at that place. My favorite one was at this vacuum place. And originally the sign had said, quality vac and sew.
Oh wait, but we don't know if we can say this word on.
Yeah, we can.
On the internet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Is quality vac and sew. That's the name of the company. Do we have Kirby's? Like that kind of vacuum Kirby's? You betcha. And we changed it to quality bestiality. Do we have herpes? You betcha.
I wanted to do this fun stuff.
And that one to me, and I don't think I'll top that.
No,
I don't think so.
What I appreciate about your vandalism is the anagrams. Like, you could just so easily just remove. I feel like some of these signs, because like Todd and Megan did show me like old pictures of just like, oh yeah, there's this, like pictures of their kids, like there's this one, and then we did this one a few years ago. Like, I've noticed that like there's a few signs where like you almost make a point to be like, no, it's got to be a perfect anagram. We got to use all of them. Yeah. Otherwise, it's not real. It's like you don't get credit for the attempt.
There was this one time, I think it was like my second time sign changing ever. And I think I was like 16 or maybe a little younger. Anyways. And I secretly had taken the leftover letters from another sign, and we went to the next sign. Cause I think we changed like 6 signs that night. And I went to the next sign. And I was like, haha. And everyone was like, oh! And I was like, what? And
that's breaking the rules.
Ruined the whole night. And I was like, what do you mean I ruined the whole night? And they're like, can't take letters and bring them to another sign. And it's just like this whole thing. Like I was
Where's the challenge? Where's the challenge in that? Yeah, if I had a typewriter with me, this would be super easy. But you gotta work with the palette that you're given.
And I was they threatened like never let me come
again.
That's
the art of it, you know?
Yeah, like there's an art to vandalism.
And the things are more funny when you know that it was the thing that you could make, not just like whatever you wanted. It's a lot more funny. And sometimes they're simple. Like I remember the one at that car lot was like, stop in for hot deals, and it was around Christmas time, and we somehow got to say stop in for hot meals, Noel, and then just left it at that. And you know,
see that one I like better because I like all of it, but I like that one better because like that might actually cause real pandemonium where like people are lining up like the sign. We're like, I'm just imagining the people who own this sign going like, fuck the sign. Like, enough with the sign. We've done the sign. Like, you've seen what happens to the sign. Don't trust the sign. It's like, well, what about the sale next week? Oh, that's real. You should.
Yeah. I mean, they're all hot deals. They're definitely hot deals on cars.
Those are definitely hot deals for Hot Wheels. It's Christmas time. Please.
We did get caught once, just Todd and I.
Good. Really?
And it was at a butcher shop, and it was
the one where they painted it on the wall finally. After
no, it was a different one. Oh. It was a different butcher shop, and we changed it to is like just all these different like meat. Like there's like ham. Know, $2.49, like turkey, whatever, and then we had cat flesh, $1.89 a pound, and we got caught, and the lady made us change it back, of course.
Yeah.
But they did think it was funny, because we got some chuckles. So it was like it was like a ha. Okay, change it back, please.
Yeah.
So that's maybe our people think it's funny. Who knows?
Surprised you guys didn't have like a name for your duo. Like everyone around town was like, have you heard these people changing signs?
we should tag it when it's us, so people know it's the real deal.
Yeah. Maybe there's a conspiracy about you.
Make it sound like that like John Mulaney bit about bank robbers, where it's like, yeah, we'll get dressed up, we'll make a day of it, like with the Suggins gang. Yeah, you've been signed. Like that's
a good impression.
It's like so like how I also love the fact that you got caught, and like I can't tell if this is like a Midwest thing or a Todd thing. Because, like, I have seen Todd, like, it was like, all right, let's do this. And people were like, what are you doing? And he's like, he kind of just gets away with it. And it's just
Todd's gone away with way too much for way too long. And it's just kind of like a thing. Like, get this. Remember how I said Todd was, like, my first boyfriend? Todd got away with convincing me to break up with him.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get away with that? Like, it's so like
you'd think she could have convinced herself pretty quickly, but
I mean, like, he just like gets away with stuff, and I'm just like, dang it, you know what I mean? Anyways,
but I was in high school. I was with him when he got arrested.
Oh yeah, I remember.
We were all out causing trouble, and you know, like real benign kind of stuff. Like we went to the grocery store and we were, you know, doing races in the shopping carts, drag races.
Yeah.
You know, normal stuff. And eventually we're all standing on a corner by a Quick Trip, as you do in the Midwest. And the cops pulled up and ID'd everyone. And I was the only one that was 18. So everyone got taken 17. Down. Everyone got arrested but me. And I just waved goodbye to them as they all got piled.
It was curfew.
Yeah, it was like there's like a kid curfew or whatever. So all my friends got.
You're like lighting a cigarette, like.
Yeah, like.
And then you went and changed time.
But yeah. So that time he didn't get away with it.
The one time.
But normally he does. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it's like the thing about Todd, I feel like it's a gradual approaching of the line of just like, okay, let's see if we can get closer to the line. Okay, let's see if let's just get all right. Let's get like right up to it. It's like, is this okay? Is this okay? Can we get? Yep. And don't get me wrong, I love him for it, but like we've definitely been in situations where like the last time. Okay, so last time I ran into Todd like in the wild, besides Ed, I was playing this random festival in Iowa, and Rogue the Wolf was playing. So like Todd came with Megan to just kind of like hang, and it was like this weird like Mr. Magoo like series of events to get down to Iowa. Like I'm driving and I'm just like, oh man, I forgot about this thing. I gotta file this thing. Like I gotta file this thing where it's not gonna like, oh shoot, I should be leaving. Like I need to get to Iowa today. And then like I'm like already down there. I get a nail in my tire, so I like stop and I'm like doing the math and I'm just like, I got AAA. Let's just do it. I'm just gonna launch this car down 35 and like see if I make it. And then, you know, like I like pull into the venue and like it just starts pouring and I'm like, okay, I don't have an umbrella, so I'm just gonna load in my gear and I'm like soaked and like it's just like this whole thing. It's like a whole thing, and then I see Todd and Megan and it's just like, oh, like things are starting to look up. I have not eaten all day. I don't know where I'm sleeping that night. I don't know where it's just like a series of things where it's just like, oh yeah, don't worry, you can just hang in our Airbnb for the night. And we're like, whatever. I was like, okay, whatever. It's just like, so like I do my set. I'm exhausted. Like I'm trying my best to like just be like, all right, I got some peanut butter crackers in the car or something. I don't know. Like just like trying to keep it together. And then like someone proposes the idea. It's like, hey, we should go to that strip club we saw down. Like, and I was just like, Todd, I have been up for nearly 24 hours. I haven't eaten all day. There's a nail in my tire. I don't even know where I'm sleeping tonight. There is no way I am going to a strip club in the middle of Iowa. So I'm at a strip club in the middle of Iowa. And it's just one of those things where it's just like, Todd realizes they serve mixed drinks in those Chuck E. Cheese, like, you know, those like the light up after Little League. Yeah, after like Little League and pizza party. Yeah, they just serve like Jack and Coke and those things, like those big plastic. So like he gets those, and then we realize it's just constant edging of just like, hey, that table's got a fish tank. We should just sit there until something happens. So like we're sitting in the VIP booth, and it just gets to the point where I'm just like, I am gonna like everyone left too. So now it's just me and Todd, and I'm just like, well, I can't leave because now I'm Todd's ride, and Todd knows this. So like he orders like he's like, oh yeah, like one of these things, like no, okay, like you're right, it's late. We'll get going soon. I'm just gonna get one more drink. And then he gets another one of those and like comes, and it's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna nurse this drink here. It's just like this much Jack and Coke left to go, and it's like 3 a.m. and I'm just like, dude, I don't even know how I'm gonna fix my tire. And it just like kept going, and like eventually it just got to the point where I had to like just like take Todd aside and be like, all right, we gotta go. You have found my limit. I appreciate that. And then, like, I think later he thought I was mad at him, but I was just like, no, dude, like, here's the situation. I just hadn't eaten. It's like, if it was any other situation, I would have seen how far it was going to go. But, like, I was still holding my guitar in the strip club. So here we are, like, two jackasses in the VIP booth. One of them has, like, beer. And it's just like, hey, I want entertainment. And it's just like, oh, God. Like, it was
That's amazing.
Me, like, I've worked at enough clubs, not strip clubs, but I've worked at enough clubs where, like, I feel like we are being such assholes right now.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
We're not buying anything. We are sitting here taking up valuable real estate, not buying anything. Not a good idea.
The amount of times that I have, like, had a panic attack because of that act of, like, is like, I can't even count it. Like, it's but I mean, I love and but him too.
Yeah,
same
I mean,
thing.
usually my
Same
fault, sometimes Todd's.
Thing.
This is the point where she'll just start punching Todd if like
we should remake the Don't Be a Todd shirt.
Well, like, I couldn't be really mad at Todd because I knew what he was doing the entire time.
Right.
But like in my head, I'm playing that politeness game of just like, I know what he's doing. He's just doing a bit, you know, like you can't get mad at Todd for being Todd. But like Todd is literally sitting there going like, how do I make Doc snap? When does Doc snap? Like we need to, like, where's Doc's limit? Like what is their limit to like get them over the edge? But yeah, like eventually I just had to be like, all right, dude, we're leaving. We're leaving this club because we are being just massive jerks.
So who's gonna...
Sorry, he's doing a work thing there.
All right, so we're gonna do a cart here.
Programming on KFAI,
and then we're gonna go back on the air. No, we should have.
Offering a confidential family planning and
see, that's the thing. I end up talking too much on this show, and then we never get to the end of the whole playlist. But like, I'm gonna see how many actual songs we can get in here. Okay, so we just heard "Why Control" by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs here on KFAI. Phoebe Bridgers, Motion Sickness, and Marquee Moon by Television. If you're just tuning in, this is Desert Islands, the show where I make mixtapes based on my guests' 10 records they bring to a desert island. Today I'm making one for Maudlin. We heard Grave Danger off of Grave Danger at the top of, well, not the top of that set, but the top of the hour, top of something, you know, top of the morning. It's still morning, right? Yeah. Well, obviously, because I'm still on the air. Democracy Now! Is on at noon. I want to recap the who, the what, the where, and the why. Also, we got a request for something on the calendar that I just saw. So if you're just tuning in, Japan Van Dam, Club Underground, Friday the 2nd. Add that to the calendar as well as, and you can see the list that I will post after the fact. So, Maudlin, you have a new record coming out this Friday. If you are playing along at home and watching the off-mic conversation, feel free to watch that video a little bit later. So, let's talk about this new record and touring and all that. So you have July 22nd, the 24th. You did some live streams that I thought were like really well balanced for like how, like just the medium. And we were talking about shows where it's just like, yeah, I don't feel like doing a show that is going to be exhausting or whatever. what do you think the function of live streaming is going to be when we come back out of like why would I watch a live stream? Like, do you think there's going to be a function for it? Because like I do. I think it's going to be a supplement, complement rather than the thing.
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
Continue to do that.
You're right. You're right on. Yeah. I think one of the things that's going to happen is, since like all these venues kind of got set up for it because of the pandemic, there'll be things where they'll be like, well, you can get a live ticket, or for like a couple bucks, you can just pop in the stream, or they might do like, once a show sells out, then you can still buy stream tickets. And I think, it's just, I don't know how big that audience is, but it doesn't really cost anything to flip the switch, and turn it on. So so I feel like because people are set up to do it, it's always going to be a thing. It's always going to be an option. And for like, like old people like us, like the whole, like, you're thinking like, oh, do I want to go down to First Avenue and then I got to pay for parking and it's going to take me like 3 or 4 hours to get down there to watch the show or whatever, when really I just kind of want to see kind of this one band on the bill, and you could just be like, oh, here's $5. I'm just going to tune in for 15, 20 minutes and then like duck back out because there's babies and there's poop flying all over the place. And
you gotta take care of that.
I mean, you should. But so I feel like that's like a cool option. I can see myself doing that,
Oh yeah.
And also just, even without the kids, just sometimes you're just a jerk and you're just like, I don't want to sit there for 3 hours and then have to talk with everybody. I'm not feeling that right now.
I think a lot of people have embraced like their introverted side, and have learned to be okay with that. And the fact that like you don't have to leave the house and it's normal and okay now. And I think that that's going to be a huge part of it. For people like me though, that like need that human interaction, like, I don't know. I miss going out to shows, so for me, like, I want to be out. But the one thing that I really did enjoy about live streaming during the pandemic was like, I could watch shows while I was cooking. And
I like that too. And I also, have a lot of friends that don't live in town, don't even live in this state, don't even live in this time zone. A lot of them like watch this show after the fact, but like there was a few things of just like, that's kind of how they tune in. They're like, oh, I live in Canada. I'm not going to see your show.
I'm really hoping that there's going to be a lot of like, streamed live shows, like aux off the board straight into the into the live stream. Like, I know they can do that at like 7th Street and stuff, and they could get that set up before the pandemic, and I just think that that's really cool, and I'm hoping that there's going to be a lot of like hybrid shows.
I think there will be. I'm hoping. I like what you said of just like, oh, if it's sold out, you could hop on the stream. Because like I also don't. One of the things I worry about is like this weird consolidation of powers where it's just like, oh, well, we can shake them down for more money. Where it's just like every show is going to have like a companion stream. None of them are going to be free. No, like everything is going to be like a convenience charge after a convenience charge. But I guess that just goes to show you it's a snake eating its own tail. It's going to be a never-ending game of like, how can we charge you an extra $15?
There's always a way.
If the artists are in charge of setting up a stream though, like that's
different. Yeah.
There were bands doing that before 2020 where they were live streaming for free, and they were just like asking sound people for for the audio and everything. So I mean, there's a possibility that could happen too. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, it's also like modern taper culture. Like I've seen a few bands, like that's their thing, is they just live stream every gig and they have like a good setup for it and they just show up and they're like, boom, here we go. That's actually kind of great, but also like I don't know if that would work for every audience, or maybe it does. I don't know. I feel like anytime someone says like, you know what you should do, don't listen to them, because if it actually worked, they'd be doing it. So like it I don't know the answer, but like I was kind of hesitant to do it because, like you said, I missed shows, and anytime I would do one of those festival things, it was cool. It was nice to be like appreciated, but there's also this weird thing that I couldn't get over of like, I see the behind the scenes of just like this chair in this big empty room. And how many more songs do I have to do? I agreed to 60 minutes of this. Okay. Here we are. And that is something I'm not going to miss. That was like a unique quarantine experience, but I do think people are going to hybridize it. Is that something you would think of doing, or would you rather just kind of be like, if the venue is going to set it up, sure, but like we're not going to haul like an extra set of gear around?
Sorry, I want to do it. I want to figure out a way to do it, but at the same time, like it's gonna kind of have to be like my job, I think, which also kind of sucks because like
sweet. Sweet.
I love how the drummer says that. Like,
I know.
As long as I don't move it, I'm good.
For reals.
So we did a paste. We did one with paste, like, gosh, what was it, 2018 or something like that?
Something like that.
We did like it was a really nice setup, and it was so awesome. And I
have a nice setup.
Yeah, I love doing paste. I love doing that. So I want to do some more stuff like that. Where like,
sure,
you know, I don't know. It's like a professional space.
Yeah, there's like competent people involved that understand like
technology
and what's going on.
They have nice gear that you can use.
Yeah.
All that.
Like Kelsey Geiger's doing with Fantasy and the virtual space. Now we are not technically like synth pop music like they're focusing on, and like this, you know, hyper pop and everything like that. But like spaces like that seem really cool, and that's like a 3D virtual venue, you know. Like that seems amazing. But as far as like actually streaming live at the show, I would love to do it at a venue that is like, cool, let me like just give you this and this and this. This will be an easy setup, and then I'll just set up like my DSLR and just stream it. But if it's going to be like a pain in the butt, no, I won't do it. Because again, like I said, I'd have to be in charge of it, and it has to be easy.
We are trying to you know, like I said, like be selective about doing things that don't suck a little bit. And that's the goal. That's like, you know, if you were like, what's Maudlin's career goal? It'd be like, let's keep making music in a way that doesn't suck for us to do.
and hopefully
don't suck.
And
everyone else.
And spread the word that birds aren't real.
Yeah. Well, we got to spread that gospel, because I think people are waking up everywhere. Speaking of waking up, we are dangerously close to the top of the hour, so I want to remind people of the who, the what, the where, and the why. This is Desert Islands. I'm making a mixtape today for Maudlin. Your new record comes out not tomorrow, Friday, 2 days from now. If you're listening to this later, July 2nd, if it's already July 2nd or later, find it online. You can do that right now. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Is there anything you would like the listeners to know about before we get going here?
I just want to say that this album, I think it's a really, really great album. I normally never like compliment myself ever. Like ever. And I think that this album is really good. I think that this album is really good. And it has a lot of tracks on it that are super weird and really good for like creeping yourself out. There's a little bit of love in there. There's a little bit of lust in there, and lots of monsters. So if you're into that weirdo stuff, check us out, because it's going to be fun. How was that? Did I do it?
That was good.
Excellent.
Terrible.
Well, if you're into Love and Monsters, July 2nd, you can get Grave Danger out. Maudlin, thank you so much for coming on the show. Let's keep going here with the mixtape. Oh, by the way, I know I talk a lot, and we're not going to have time to get to the whole mixtape. You can see the playlist online, but you can see all the stuff I didn't have time to play. I'm going to make a Spotify playlist, and I'm going to share it underneath this video. Here's Tip City by the Amps.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doc.
Thanks for doing it. So I have to ask. I noticed you're wearing a Gritty shirt. Are you doing that? Are you doing that because you knew I grew up in Philly, or do you just like Gritty? Like,
I didn't. I love Philly.
Yeah.
I've been out there a few times, spent a little bit of time in the city. I love Philly. Mostly, so this was a present from my brother-in-law.
Nice.
And it was because I got really into Gritty memes with the election.
Also, does he not look exactly like Steve Bannon? I think he does.
Yeah, it's like orange. But yeah, with the whole like, like all the memes of him like coming out of the sewer grate and like we all counting down here.
Yeah.
Like circa November, December when those memes were.
You are so lucky to have Gritty.
Yeah. At first, when Gritty first came out, I was like, "What is this? This is so creepy, so weird, so awful."
We all thought that because like at first. It was like the most typical Philly thing I've ever seen, where it's like we introduce it and then like everyone in Philly just had to have a wise ass remark about it. We're like, what the hell is that? Like they were obviously trying to like make a companion to the Philly Fanatic. Yeah. And then like everyone in the city was just like, what is this? Why do we need this? Like get this out of here. And then it blew up on the internet and like Philly doubled down on being Philly. Once they realized everyone hated Gritty, they were like, well, fuck you. It's Gritty. He's our guy. He's our guy. He represents us. We love him. And then like it just became a thing where it's like Gritty is the people's mascot. Like, everyone loves Gritty. The memes were like insane for me to watch because like I was just like, it's hard to say like it because at first when they started happening, I think like everyone from the community kind of had like a collective like, are they making fun of us? Do you think you're better than me? Are they making like it's like what is it? And I think everyone realizes like they're just in on it. But I've also like I know a bunch of Philly sports friends just because like I feel like if you're raised in Philly, a good way of like connecting with people is like there's just like that background radiation of just like, oh yeah, they talk about sports because like sports is like religion out there. I noticed like so many people became Flyers fans. They're like, I don't even like hockey, I just like Gritty. I like it's the only reason I watch hockey because like the Gritty, like that's it's all about Gritty.
That's amazing.
Just want to see what he does.
I know. I wish we had a version of Gritty. Oh,
it's all about the memes, really. Like, are you actually gonna see one? So here's the deal, though. We have less than 90 seconds left, and I gotta make sure Democracy Now! Airs on time. So, like in about a minute, we're gonna have to end the stream here. But thank you so much for like doing this.
Yeah,
really good to see you and hang out with you. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been too long. We should.
Are you in Minneapolis? Are you like, or
depends on who you're talking to? Wheeling is kind of in Minneapolis.
Yeah, I'm in Richfield.
Oh, okay. Because I always thought y'all didn't live in the cities at all.
What?
Oh no. Yeah. We've always lived here.
Really? Weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's just I don't know. I'm in my own world. Like that's the thing about me is I am an introvert, but I'm not shy. So like when my battery's out, like I just don't go out. I just kind of disappear off the face of the earth, and then like eventually I'll appear. So like I just like, this was like pure ignorance of just like, I just felt like, yeah, like, oh yeah, they don't live here anymore. Like they just kind of like work in the shadows and then release music. Like, yeah, it's good. It's good to know.
We went to go live with the birds.
All right,
but
well,
yeah, we're here. We're here.
All right. Well, on that note, birds aren't real. Good to talk to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for Democracy Now!